Merci, Madame la Présidente. It is an honor to rise in debate on Bill C-6, which seeks to ban conversion therapy in this country. Let us make no mistake, the proposed legislation is revolutionary. It would make Canada's laws on conversion therapy the most progressive and comprehensive in the world. Conversion therapy is a degrading practice that targets LGBTQ2 Canadians to try and change their sexual orientation or gender identity and can lead to lifelong trauma. There is widespread consensus in the medical community that conversion therapy is extremely harmful. A recent study in the United States found almost 30% of LGBTQ2 youth who had experienced conversion therapy had attempted suicide. Let us think about that for a moment, Madam Speaker. Let us think about our duty as legislators, our responsibility to prohibit practices which endanger the very lives of the people we aim to protect and serve. Madam Speaker, as with other pieces of legislation in favor of which I have spoken, Bill C-6 is for me also about freedom. Freedom to be who you are. Freedom to express your gender, freedom to express your sexual orientation, freedom from being forced to change, freedom from being enticed to change by others. It is the freedom to be you, and only you know who that is. This is the freedom that we should want for all Canadians. J'espère donc que cette Chambre se prononcera fermement et d'une seule voix pour appuyer ce projet de loi et envoyer un message fort à la communauté LGBTQ2, à nos jeunes et au monde tout entier. J'aimerais prendre un moment pour rendre hommage aux nombreux organismes locaux qui ont lutté et qui continuent de lutter pour les droits des transgenres et pour l'ensemble de la communauté LGBTQ2. Chez nous, dans le Myland, j'ai déjà eu le privilège de m'entretenir avec Fraîchement Jeudi, une émission de radio communautaire qui donne une voix à la communauté LGBTQ2 à Montréal. Je pense également au Centre de solidarité lesbienne dans ma circonscription qui apporte de l'aide pour les lesbiennes ayant vécu de la violence conjugale, une agression sexuelle, un deuil, un coming out difficile ou toute autre difficulté liée au bien-être. À Montréal, nous avons de nombreux autres organismes comme la Fondation Émergence qui lutte contre l'homophobie et la transphobie, Réseau qui fournit du soutien psychologique aux hommes LGBTQ2, le groupe de recherche et d'intervention sociale GRI qui mène des campagnes de sensibilisation, particulièrement dans les écoles. Nous pensons souvent au défilé de la Fierté Montréal, qui, en temps normal, rassemble des millions et des millions de Montréalais. Mais ces organismes, Madame la Présidente, travaillent à tous les jours afin de s'assurer de l'inclusion de toutes et de tous dans notre société, peu importe qui ils aiment. Nos lois et surtout notre code criminel sont des instruments pour protéger nos plus vulnérables et prévenir et rectifier les injustices. Le projet de loi devant nous est progressiste et approfondi en interdisant les soi-disant thérapies de conversion. Nul besoin de dire que ces thérapies ne sont pas fondées sur la science. Cette pratique dommageable et inacceptable, ancrée dans l'homophobie, la biphobie et la transphobie, n'a aucune place dans notre société. Le projet de loi C-6 rajouterait 5 infractions au Code criminel. Faire suivre une thérapie de conversion à un enfant au Canada, envoyer un enfant à l'étranger pour suivre une thérapie de conversion, faire suivre une thérapie de conversion à une personne contre son gré, faire de la publicité pour les thérapies de conversion et bénéficier financièrement de la prestation de thérapie de conversion. Before I move on to the details of this important bill, I would also like to recognize the incredible advocacy of a member of my community in Outremont. Dr. Kimberly Manning is an associate professor of political science at Concordia University. She is also a fierce advocate for transgender rights and one of the directing minds behind the website gendercreativekids.ca, as well as a not-for-profit organization serving the parents of gender non-conforming children. We owe a debt of gratitude to her and to all parents who have advocated tirelessly for the rights of their children and for minors everywhere. The bill before us proposes 5 new criminal code offenses related to conversion therapy, including, first and foremost, causing a minor to undergo conversion therapy. It would also ban the removal of a minor from Canada to undergo conversion therapy abroad, make it an offense to cause a person to undergo conversion therapy against their will, make it illegal to profit from conversion therapy, as well as ban any advertising for conversion therapy, and authorize our courts to order the seizure of conversion therapy publicity or their removal from the Internet. Les thérapies de conversion peuvent prendre plusieurs formes. Qu'elles durent 1 heure, 1 semaine, des mois ou des années, elles sont toutes incroyablement dommageables. Convaincre une personne de vivre dans le mensonge et de renier son orientation sexuelle ou bisexuelle, voire même de renier son identité de genre chez les personnes transgenres et non-binaires. Laissez-moi la chance d'illustrer l'étendue et les impacts des thérapies de conversion. Les données nous en disent long. La Community-Based Research Center, organisme communautaire de Vancouver dont la mission touche la santé des hommes, a publié en février 2020 des résultats intérimaires de leur enquête Sexe au présent. Les résultats émanent de 7200 participants et nous démontrent l'ampleur du phénomène en 2020. Au Canada, près de 20% des hommes issus de minorités sexuelles affirment avoir été visés par des efforts de coercition visant à changer l'orientation sexuelle, l'identité de genre ou expression de genre. De ce nombre, près de 40% auraient vécu une forme de thérapie de conversion au Canada. Les hommes plus jeunes sont plus nombreux à affirmer avoir été visés par des efforts de coercition, de même que les répondants bispirituels, trans et non-binaires. Au niveau des impacts, ceux-ci sont nombreux. Le fait d'avoir été visé par une thérapie de conversion est associé à divers résultats psychosociaux, la dépression, l'anxiété, l'isolation sociale, un coming-out tardif. Les impacts sont profonds. Une personne qui a vécu une thérapie de conversion, surtout une jeune personne, aura vécu un traumatisme. Elle en vivra les séquelles toute sa vie, aux dépens de sa santé mentale. La personne aura le sentiment qu'elle n'est pas légitime, qu'elle doit avoir honte de son identité, qu'elle doit vivre dans le mensonge ou même qu'elle ne mérite pas de vivre. Plusieurs adultes qui ont survécu une telle injustice dans leur jeunesse décrivent à quel point ils sont toujours dans l'incapacité d'établir des relations de confiance avec leur famille, leurs pères, leurs collègues. Dans certains cas, il y a même atteinte à leur capacité de poursuivre leurs études ou d'obtenir un emploi. En fait, ils racontent souvent qu'ils auraient même du mal à vivre sainement en relation d'intimité ou de vivre pleinement leur identité de genre. Pire encore, Madame la Présidente, nous savons que ces pratiques peuvent même mener nos enfants, nos frères, nos sœurs, nos amis et nos collègues LGBTQ2 vers des pensées suicidaires, voire même de passer à l'acte. Comment pouvons-nous tolérer une telle chose au Canada en 2020? The practice of conversion therapy, Madam Speaker, indeed cannot be tolerated. On the one hand, it causes such psychological trauma as to lead individuals, statistically so, to much higher rates of depression and suicide. And on the other, the very idea, the underlying rationale for conversion therapy runs antithetical to our values as a country, our values of freedom and liberty, the premise that every Canadian should be free to love whomever they choose, should be free to express their individuality however they choose. This is yet one more step, Madam Speaker, in our visceral drive as human beings to express ourselves, to express our most fundamental identity, the way that we decide.
Questions and comments? Yes, the Honourable Member for Calgary-Nose Hill.
Madam Speaker, I agree with the member. Conversion therapy is an abuse of the most epic proportions. It's an abrogation of human rights. This bill should proceed. I also think that it's incumbent upon the government to move on an issue which they've had 5 years to move on, and that's ending the discriminatory blood ban. Can the member opposite please update the House on when she expects my gay friends to be able to donate blood?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I am so pleased that Bill C6 has the support of many Conservative members. I hope it will have the unanimous support of this House. It is incredibly important, as I've outlined in my speech, that we ban conversion therapy in this country. It is a barbaric practice that has no good in it, Madam Speaker. With respect to my colleague's question regarding a blood ban, we have committed as a government to move forward on this, and I look forward to working with her and other members in this House on a future bill.
Hear, hear.
And comments, the Honourable Member for Timmins, James Bay.
One of the very first debates I remember being involved in was the right to same-sex marriage. And I received a call from my parish priest saying if I didn't change my vote, I'd be excommunicated from the church. My wife was not allowed to participate in a graduation ceremony because of my vote. My daughter in grade 2 was not allowed to make her first communion, and the diocese sent out a press release saying they'd have me defeated in the next election. But what I remember from that was the incredible support of Catholics and religious people across the North, particularly in the Franco-Ontarian community, where they said, we remember the Duplessis priests. We remember being told from the pulpit how to vote. And what that lesson taught me is that Canadians are much more open and giving and caring than some of the religious leaders who've let us down in the past, but the religious communities are also struggling and trying to find ways of being positive. I think this bill is a very, very important sign, and I think we should try and get as much unanimous support for it as possible.
Brief comment from the Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I couldn't agree more with my colleague, and I too believe that this bill and the idea of banning conversion therapy has widespread support in Canada among many, many different communities, and I look forward to his support and the support of all members in this House for Bill C6.
Questions and comments, the Honourable Member for Calgary Signal Hill.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. I listened intently not only to this particular member, but some of the other speeches from Liberal members, government members. I continue to hear over and over again the same words about what the bill does do. One of the concerns that, first of all, I'd just like to say that one of the most impassioned speeches I have heard in this House in my short time here was yesterday from the member of Stormont Dundas South Glengarry, who clearly is supportive of the bill, but is encouraging the government to look at an amendment which would add some greater clarity around what is not prohibited. I'd like to ask the member whether or not she is supportive of looking at that amendment.
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, and I agree that we need to work collaboratively as members in this House. I believe that is one of the reasons why we will have an opportunity in committee to look at proposed amendments to ensure that ideas such as the one that the Conservative member is proposing can be discussed and debated and perhaps included in this bill. It is certainly our intention to be as open and collaborative as possible, Madam Speaker.
Questions and comments? Oh, the Honourable Member for Provencher.
Thank you, and thank you to the member from Outremont for that intervention. And my question is, she talked a lot about treatment services and procedures. I'm wondering if she could clarify a little bit by what she means. And I think we all agree in this House that barbaric, degrading, dehumanizing, coerced, unwanted treatments is something that should be prohibited. But can she clarify a little bit more what she believes would be acceptable?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary, 30 seconds.
Thank you, and I believe that the previous colleague also raised this point, and I think there perhaps is some concern in this House around conversations, but the Minister of Justice has clarified that conversations between an individual and their religious leader or an individual and their counselor or psychologist are not included in this bill, are absolutely permitted under what is being proposed by the government, and I think we need to keep that in mind as we move forward, Madam Speaker.